twist dimensions. I think they need me in this competition. Thanks to influences, it's my ambition. Also envision my path so I complete the mission. Yeah, I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. I'll never rest, regardless of all the pain and the stress. Yeah, I'll say it with my chest, I was destined to be the best. Yes.
Welcome to the last sip. It's your boy Mac Mans, aka Motivational Muscle. I'd like to thank y'all who follow me on Facebook at Ontario Hill Blue Checkmark Verified. Everybody follow me on YouTube at Motivational Muscle. That's Muscle MUZCLE 74. Thank you. I want to give yourself an applause and a cheer for looking all fabulous out there. Now we get down before we get started. I never spill the tea, but I do take the last sip. Let's get a sip in here. Nothing like that H2O. Y'all, right now it's kind of rainy outside here in Arkansas, so y'all might be seeing a little slowage or feedback. Let me know if you're getting that. But today's podcast is going to be brought to you by your local outreach program, your local YMCA or YWCA, also your local food banks and your local churches. If you know anyone that is in need of help in your area, especially during this time coming up, it's coming up on the holiday season, make sure nobody's outside in the cold, make sure nobody is going hungry, make sure nobody make sure everybody has access to financial for the bills and also for food bank help. Anybody that needs help, make sure they have the right resources. So reach out to your local outreach program and your local YMCA, YWCA, and give them a hand to help those in need. Well, y'all, today we have a great podcast because today is a special day for me. Today's podcast is called The Culture of Our Culture, aka The Rebuttal, Part 2. Now, if you watched the last podcast, it was a Fire on Hot podcast. I will say it is right now my second highest ranking podcast. The first one I did was a review of 2024. You can go on my Facebook page, my YouTube page, look under Motivational Muscle 74, and you'll be able to pull it up in my list of videos called The Last Sip. I have 45 to 46 episodes of Last Sip on there. But the last podcast I had was hot. Now, if you tuned in, you know what the situation and scenario was. I started out with a young man. I gave him a chance to be on the podcast because I wanted to give him a outreach. I wanted him to give him a platform so he can speak about problems going on in the inner city and how we can solve them. But if you paid attention to the podcast, you know that is not what happened. It kind of turned into something completely different. It was more in the discussion that got kind of to the point it got kind of heated. So today, with that being said, I'm coming with the other side of the conversation. Some of you guys reached out to me. Some of y'all had things y'all want to say. So right now, I'm giving you an opportunity. You can call the BrewLine at 501-259-6788. That's 501-259-6788. I am taking phone calls, and I'm looking to hear on today's conversation opinions and stories. Because what we have to do is, after having that discussion last week, I see that we have problems we have to fix in our urban communities. That's why if you look at the thumbnail for this, it is fixing the hood mentality. Now, the young man I had on last week lives in an area that I don't live in. He's dealing with things I don't deal with on an everyday basis. But as I did tell him, I've been there before and I've done that. So today's focus is not going to focus on that. If you saw last week's show, you know it was hot. Last week's show was basically, it was what it was. So today we're going to do something different. What I'm going to focus on today is first off, before I get started, I got something I got to get off my chest. for me and every other brother out there that came from nothing and made something, and we are continuing every day to make something, we are creating a new form of generational wealth. We are breaking generational curses. We are forming a new form of generational traditions. My main issue with some things is the fact that whenever we talk, or I talk to brothers from the hood, I get to the point where I don't have the complexion for the protection, but then because I made it out, I ain't black enough. That is a big issue with me right now. Because the whole scenario is, if I come from nothing and make it out, I have the option to go back in and help you out. That is how we solve a lot of our problems. But because a lot of us brothers that make it out of the hood seem to get backlash from brothers in the hood, like we don't know what's going on. We came from that. We changed that. I have young men that I mentor, also I have sons that have to have something to look up to. So I changed my mentality and my thought process to give them something to have and to look up to. My issue is I get irritated with people that don't think I'm black enough for the hood. That is an issue with me. Because when are we going to get to the point where we stop doing that to each other? Because I'm educated and like to read. Because I'm educated and know about stocks. Because I'm educated and chose to take myself and move to an area to where I didn't have to deal with no more problems. Does that make me better than you? I never said that not one time. I don't think that way. See, brothers in the hood understand something. Us brothers like me, we fighting the same war you fighting, just that we a different army. In wars, you can have two armies. And with those two armies, my brother, what you can do is you can accomplish the same goal. Okay, like we might have the same itinerary or same agenda, but I got different brothers with me in the battlefield. My brothers do it this way, your brothers do it that way. But the purpose is still to come together and make the same effect happen. We are here to try to better our culture and better ourselves. But we stymie that by affecting and packing each other. I talked to the young man once again, like I told him, I got nothing but love for him because I respect his opinion. I respect the way he does things, the way he thinks. That's not my thought process. But my thing is, after we talk about all the problems, when do we start talking about the solutions? When do we start coming up with a game plan? Any good coach that coaches the championship team has a game plan. Now you might have before halftime, you might get stumbled up, but at halftime you go in and you change that game plan to configure it and mold it so you can come back out second half and take over. See, my issue right now with the hood, it's not the fact that brothers in there ain't trying, because it's brothers that's really trying. But the fact is the brothers that made it out that want to come back to help start being receptive to us. Because we know what y'all going through. We've been there. We might not be in the field now. You know what? The problems in the 20s, the 2020s, is the same problems as are in the 2010s. The problems in the 2010s are the same problems in the 1990s. The problems in the 1990s are the same problems in the 1980s, and so forth and so on. So it took an OG to come to me and set me down and tell me, listen here, young knucklehead, I was 35, 36 years old. Do y'all know I didn't really change my attitude or my demeanor thinking till I got closer to being this 50 age I am right now? Because I always thought I was going to be invincible. I always wanted that fast money. I got tired of sitting back and I always said, how come the people in the street that's hustling got more than I do and I'm a good guy? So it made my thought process different because I used to be hungry. I used to not have nothing and wanted a lot. So I had to hustle to get what I had to get. But as I graduated in the mindset, my outer being had to graduate as well. And an OG sound told me, he said, listen, young buck, young Thundercat, they call us Thundercat. He said, I might not be in your time, in your era to know what you know or going through what you're going through. He said, but I done been through this. And my mentor at the time was, what you talking about? You don't know nothing about me. Get out of my face. So I get that with young cats, young brothers in the streets. But then as I turned 40 years old, then as I turned 42, 43, what he was saying to me resonated and hit. Because I started to see things a little bit different. I got young men, young boys, young princes I'm trying to bring up to make to kings. Now, you might have your way of doing things, but I got to have my way of doing things. So no one to me is in the wrong. It's just about how you go about delivering it, how you go about doing it. Because everybody's not going to receive the package you are giving them at Christmas time. Some people don't want that gift. But for those who want to receive the type of gift I have, I'm willing to mentor. I'm willing to nourish. I'm willing to feed. I'm willing to regurgitate this information to give to you so you can spoon it in and give it to somebody else. It's like a smorgasbord. You can't eat everything at the smorgasbord, but you try. But you can't. Some of the stuff you're going to like, some of the stuff you ain't going to like. But when you find out what suits you and what tastes delicious, you're going to eat more of that than anything else. And you're going to tell people, like, check this out, man, go on over to such and such and get you a plate of that. It's good. That's how knowledge works. But here's the thing. I'm not going to knock the chef that cooked the food I didn't want to eat because somebody else likes that meal. So that is my issue right there. With being a black man who made it out of the hood area, who became educated, who's making some of himself. I am so tired of brothers out here that want to knock us because we got out of our situation. And then you say that in order to fix it, we got to fix it together. Well, if I'm coming in to fix it, how come you can't be receptive to understand what I'm trying to give you? We have got to come to a game plan, a solution. We cannot keep going around in circles. What Tevin Campbell say? Round and round. We can't keep going round and round. Sooner or later, we got to stop saying this ain't this and that ain't that and decide what we're going to do. Like I said before, and I understand all you young men out here that's in the hood, understand y'all. We are behind the 8 ball. We did start the race 2 legs back. But guess what? Naturally, we survivors. Name another race, and I say, matter of fact, I'll go brown skinned people. I'm talking about all of us. How long have we been around? How long have we survived situations that was bad? Other people can't survive the things we've been through. Go through history. Y'all, we was built tough for a reason. We go through things, but we pick ourselves back up and we keep on going. What we need to do instead of bickering and arguing about situations is sit down and start bringing in more financial education to the hood. Bring in more family unity in the hood. Young mothers and young fathers, get with these couples that have been couples that have successful marriages and find out what they're doing. Don't have children until you're ready to have children. If you want to live your life, live your life. Don't get kids involved in it. Young men, stop having a mentality that every dollar is a good dollar. Because it's fast and easy, sometimes that gets you locked up. And I know you're supposed to be hood and you're about where you come from. But when you locked up, you're not doing you no good or the children that you have no good or your family. Mothers, Sit down with these babies from day one. Teach them how to read. Teach them how to write. Teach them life skills instead of teaching the latest Tootsie Roll dance or whatever's going on now. Stay off the internet with this garbage with your kids. Or use a computer to open up a program. Teach them literacy. Take time to read a book to your child. Take time to color with your child. Sit back and watch movies. Do something productive for your children. And all y'all young black men and women out here that like doing hair or like being barbers or like being landscape people, go get your LLC. Get the LLC. You'll get financial backing. Trust me, there's programs for that. And once you do it, if you want to change your hood and help people, hire minorities to work for you. But minorities, when you get a job, stop feeling like somebody owe you something. Go in there with the effort that you are going to create your own LLC. So go into that situation thinking, you know what, this person helped me out. Now it's time for me to learn everything I can learn from this person so I can help out the next person. Create a cycle of positivity and change the atmosphere. I always tell the story. I know y'all heard me tell a story about the coffee bean. Be the coffee bean. Stop letting the pressure of the world make you that hard-boiled egg when you hard on the outside and deep down inside you really soft. But the outside you portray to be hard. Because the fact you don't want the world getting close to you. When the whole time the coffee bean like, I don't give a damn, the coffee bean like, okay, you know what? I got this. It jumps in the water and it makes everything in the water brown. And I'm so fired up because being someone who changed his life, who changed his lifestyle, changed his outlook on life, changed the way he believes in things, it helped my kids. Some of their friends saw it and caught on to it. I moved to Arkansas, y'all. I'm not afraid to say I moved to Arkansas. You know how many young ladies and young men call me they pops? I'm not from here. I moved here in 2011. I got more kids now than I ever thought I could ever have. They call me they pops, they OG. Because I see them, I say stuff to them and get on them about different things, and they don't get no attitude about it. They understand where it's coming from. It's coming from love. My cousin started a program. I want to say it was the 2000s or 90s. I want to say it had to be late 90s or 2000s. He started a program called The Future. My cousin Joe Hill, in the Quad Cities. Peace out to Joe. And what he did was he took these kids that were in the hood that didn't have no fathers. We were spending time with fatherless children. And we was helping them keep their heads straight in school, give them an opportunity to play basketball and make some of themselves. And from that, we had mothers donating their time because they figured, you know what? If men can do it, we can do it too. I want to shout out to my boy Lonnie Ray. Lonnie Westerfield, Lonnie. Lonnie took, and now he has a basketball program that does a similar type of thing. He's helping these young men. I want to send a shout out to my boy David Levi. I want to send a shout out to the Ramseys with the boxing thing, the Peñas, for taking young men off the street, brown-skinned men, and teaching them a better way of living by giving them the ability to come in and take that aggression out of the punching bag. They produce many champions. We're going to send a shout out right now to Yolanda Jefferson for what she did. Yolanda created a whole entity around feeding people. She's an executive chef, and she takes that time to feed people. I want to send a shout out to Kenya Hodges, who went into the hood and created a house that provides clothing, food, help, an outreach program for those who are in need and need it. See, y'all, everybody mentions you is educated black men and women who lived in the hood area as they were young and grew up and did something for themselves. They changed their narrative. Not only did they change the narrative, they went back into the situation and reached in and pulled others out. That is a solution. Stop thinking that these brothers and sisters that ain't there now ain't been through that war. They done fought that battle already. They done been through that war already. I talked to a young man today. I told him I'm going to mention his name, but I will tell his story. He came to my gas station today when I was working. And when he came in, I said, my brother, I'm going to ask you a question. I said, where you live at? He said, well, I lived up on Pike. If you from Little Rock, Arkansas, you know about Pike. That area is rough as heck. I said, well, brother, what's good with you? Tell me your little story. He said, man, I grew up in the hood area, man. He said, I didn't know if I was going to make it out. He said, what I did was, he said, I went ahead. He said, I was doing a little bit of work. And he said, I decided to go ahead and get something going. So he said, I was doing construction and stuff. I started doing construction. He said, brother, he said, what I did was at one point in time, my wife lived in that little area. We seen the kids was going through some things. He said, I went ahead and started building and constructing bounce houses. Said I blow them up. Let the kids come over in the hood for free. Said let it around the corner with selling ice cream and drinks. We had a little thing going on. He said, my brother, I went out of town, came back, everything I had was stolen. The young brothers across the street came and robbed me blind. At that point in time, he said I was scared to go back to my house, me and my wife. So we ended up packing up and moving to the area which we live in now. He said, I say that to say this. He said, I love my people, man. And I tried to focus on making a situation better for them. He said, there was somebody out there that saw me doing good for myself and was mad because they weren't doing good. And they took everything I had. I had to start over. He said that from that point, I was scared to go back around my people. That's another issue right there. We'll complain about everything underneath the sun about how people do us wrong and do us dirty, but we do each other like that. Also, when I'm talking to brothers from the hood, if I don't believe, I'm tired so that if I don't believe in what they saying or believe their opinion, I'm an Uncle Tom. I'm a house brother. I'm a tap dancer. I'm a subservient. But if I speak and don't listen to you, that's what I am. But I need to listen to you. So if you listen to me, what can I call you? Your point is not the only point, my friends. Get your hood you live in is not the only hood either. It's many hoods out here that have made a change, the difference where people in the hood then change themselves. You see stories about it all the time. Then the ones you don't see, they don't show because they try to keep the narrative that everybody in the hood ain't about nothing. See, last week proved the point. See, we always talk about how they want us to stay at each other. What they don't want us getting, they don't want us to come together and make something positive. And us not talking to each other is what they want to see. No, that's not. No, I'm telling you what they want to see. They want to see what happened to me last week. They want to see me and a young man talking, and the young man being from a different area than me, and me being from a different area, and we trying to come to a solution. We can't seem to get along. That's what they want to see. Because it goes right to the narrative that brothers can't get along. That brothers can't seem to get it together. But we feed them that narrative. We support that narrative. I always asked myself when I was younger. I said, if brothers got this money and they come from the hood, why don't they put back into the community? What do they do for the community? And it was one brother told me this, and I laughed at him for a long time, and I finally realized maybe he got a point. He said, man, you know what? He said, I tried. He said, I came back with my nice car. Somebody tried to rob me. I came back with a better attitude. They laughed at me. Now, I'm not talking about specific people. I ain't say you if you listening to me and you live in the hood. I didn't say you. I did not say everybody. That's another thing, too, right there. All of us black people made out the hood to some of the hood people, we all classify in the same thing as them. I told you as one of them. I hate that term. I hate that way they put that out there like that. One of them. We one of them. Want to what? Somebody that want to change the narrative about how people look and stereotype black people, so I do something a little bit different? Want to what? One of the brothers that want to come back into the hood and help those out who I can help? Want to what? One of those who choose to work a 9 to 5 and work my fingers to the bone so my kids can see what I do? Want to what? One of the brothers that want to do something legally so I don't go to prison or jail for doing something illegally? We know they're already watching us. We know they're already on us. So why give them ammunition to do more damage to me or my children? What kind of black man or black father would I be if I didn't teach my sons about how to survive in this life without doing it the wrong way all the time? I'm not setting you up to fail. Why would I set you up to fail? Why would I put you out here in these streets knowing they already got a target on you? Why would I give them ammunition to load their guns and weapons to take you out? Does that make any sense at all? Being a black father is an important responsibility. And I'm not going to sit there and sell the mother short neither. Being a black mother is important as well. But mothers, let these boys grow up to be grown men. Teach them something. If the father's not in the home, don't be dissing the father in front of the young men because they need that role model. They need that person that they can look up to. Even if the father ain't the best father in the world, your sons understand he comes from a man and he has to grow up to be a man. Stop dissing these fathers out here. Because half the time the fathers ain't in the home, it's made worse by the mother and father not getting along. And so you keep the kids from the father. Stop doing that. And fathers, when you have these children, be men and step up to the plate and take care of your sons. Daughters too. Teach your daughter what a real man's supposed to be like so they can stop getting with these guys and these bums that don't want nothing for them, but to run through them and get them pregnant and I'm out here taking care of stuff by themselves. Be very productive in your child's upbringing. Sound and teach them things you wouldn't usually teach a child. We have got to fix our problem. If we are going to be the only ones to fix it, if we're going to be the only solution, we've got to have ways of doing it instead of creating more problems for ourselves. Every brown-skinned person don't have the same mindset, the concept on how to do things or how to deliver messages. We all are different. But if I don't scoff you for how you deliver your message, don't scoff me for how I deliver mine. You ever notice when you're a positive brother and you always say something, somebody else always got to come back for that? And then when you back down, you're either scared to deal with the situation or, yep, see, I told you, you already know I was right. No, that's not it. I have enough respect and understanding to know when I need to pull back and let what be. Because what you're dealing with is something that might be only something you can handle. I got to wash my hands up because I know I'm not the one to solve that problem for you. I would never disrespect you. I would never discredit you. Or I would never laugh at your plight because you have a situation and I got to be a man and respect that because we grown men. Or you're a woman. I got to respect that because you're a grown woman. I don't garner hate. I don't dislike my people. But I dislike the fact that how we do those who have made it out or those who are OGs that have knowledge and wisdom. The young people are always talking about getting respect. But then when we try to give respect, they scoff us. Well, I talked to that OG because he talked to me any kind of way. Well, did you think about how you confronted and talked to him when he was trying to give you knowledge and wisdom? Yeah, sometimes OGs can come. I'm telling you now, sometimes OGs can come disrespectful and incorrect, and that's not right either. But for those who care, listen here, my young brothers and sisters, I want to tell y'all something. And I'm going to speak into the mic and look right there to the camera. This is serious. Those of us out here that made a better way of living, a lot of us out here are really trying to come and help y'all out. We really love y'all. We feel y'all plight. We want to see y'all do the best for y'all self. I might can't hand you the financial backing, but I can hand you the knowledge and wisdom to go get that financial backing. I can lace my bootstraps up and come into the hood and help you develop an LLC. I can help you to develop a conglomerate or collaboration between two different businesses or a bunch of brothers, and we can get something going. But you have got to open up the gates and let me walk through them and to be able to help you. I'm sorry I'm so fired up today, but like I told you, I feel like sometimes being someone who is educated, who is doing something different in life, is a black mark in the black community. We uppity. We trying to fit in. We Uncle Toms. We tap dancers. We house brothers. Even the house brothers started in the field, unless they was born by somebody that was messing with the person that ran the house. There's people out in this field that's soldiers that got to battle every day. And the ones that are chiefs, that are commanders, the ones that are ahead of the game, they got people ahead of them. If you really in the game, you understand, like I said, I was in the game a long, long time ago. But if you're really in the game, there's always a guy, like if y'all like shows like Belly, The Wire. On them shows, it was always an OG like Get Rich or Die Trying, 50 Cent. I know y'all seen that movie. There was always an OG, but even Bumpy Johnson. There was always an OG in them stacks that was like, look, calm it down, play smart, young fella. If we're going to get paid, we got to get paid the right way, but you got to be smart about it. Nine-Side grew their lifestyle all the way, but it was an OG that was in charge of all that, and he made sure everybody stayed regulated. Meaning he had accumulated some type of mass of knowledge and a wealth of wisdom. And he passed it down to people that came underneath him. Because he knew that somebody had to be smart in the whole group, in the whole clique. He knew somebody had to have that education on them because you was going to be dealing with lawyers, dealing with police officers, dealing with government. So somebody had to be the one to go into the situation and come up with something. We got to start understanding, y'all, that some of the problems that we dealing with ain't created by others, it's created by us. Some of the situations that we dealing with ain't created by others, it's created by us. When I lived in the hood, it was not a other, it was my brother that was stealing from me. When I lived in the hood, it was not a other, it was my brother that harassed my kids. When I lived in the hood, it was not another, it was a brother that stole my car. So when I moved out, I decided if I was going to make a difference, I was going to teach my kids the difference between living that type of lifestyle and living a lifestyle that you can get whatever you want if you give it 100% effort. And I told my kids, remember where you came from. Never forget where you came from. Never forget what you've been through. Never forget what you saw me go through. Never forget what you saw me do. My son wrote a song. He's an artist. His name is Untitled, by the way. Check out his music on YouTube and Facebook. My son wrote a song that brought tears to my eyes. He sent me a song. He said, Dad, this is late at night. There was lyrics in that song. I never knew my son knew what I was doing to make money to take care of the family. But in his song, he put this stuff in his songs because he knew what dad was going through. He knew dad was trying to hustle to make sure I could put food on the table. Because we was homeless. We lived in my aunt's basement. I slept in a chair, a recliner lit back chair. My kids slept on boards as beds. I didn't have no money. I didn't have nothing. But I was not going to let my kids go back to the area where I lived that had roaches and rats in their apartment building. I was going to not let my kids go another day. They was going to go home.